Hey everyone, it's Karen with Naturally with Karen. I just got in and home after being outside, and this is a short live stream. Oh, it was so cold outside, my lips are cold. To show you that after 3 days of combing and cutting my long dreadlocks to the end of my back at the shop where I rent professional space 3 days a week, my hair is starting to come back to what it likes to do, which is have a nice etheric curl and a bounce to it. Bless up. So I'm going to show you, this is just kind of my new do, and just to kind of do a little bit of musings, just reflecting, sharing, being here. It's 28 degrees here in northeastern Minnesota. I just got the dogs out for a second time today, and my son and I went just to get out for a little bit. I was here working on some things. I use this right now, and I try different things, but this is you see, it's a Jamaican black castor oil. And you might say to yourself, oh my gosh, it's so thick. And this one has a little bit of a lavender fragrance, but you literally just take the palm of your hand and tip it over. So it's like that much. See how much I got on there? And then I just kind of rub it because it's a little sticky. And then I scrunch my hair. It gives it a nice shine, and it brings out your natural curl. Now, my hair is going to be a little bit weird for a little bit, just like you saw yesterday. I didn't even want to get on the screen because I was like, I just didn't like the way I looked. I'd had 5.5 years of not having to really think about my hair, just go to sleep and wake up, and it was always just fine, being dreaded. And it was the third time I've had dreadlocks, and I really, really do like them a lot. I love them, actually. But I decided that I have been going through some really big stuff with a close family member. And I decided, just like I did when I went through separation with my son's father, to make a big change and to cut my hair. So this is all me. It's all virgin hair, and my hair has a lot of curl to it. But because we were combing it out so much, bless up. Hey, because we were doing so much combing on it, or Cass and Ida were doing so much combing on it, Tuesday, we skipped Wednesday because I had a full day with clients, and Thursday from 12 till 7:45 p.m. First I cut it from the end of my back, and then I cut it, a little bit more, and then we cut it up to like about right here with the dreads. And then I finally brought in a wire tooth flea comb, and it made it a lot easier. And I'd watched another YouTube. I wish I could remember the lady's name, because I always like to give credit where credit is due. But she was showing how if you use the Aussie brand conditioner, it's made with silica or silicone, and that if you coated the dreadlocks, it made it easier. So she tried that on a few of them, and it worked okay. But it was hours and hours. It was over 10 hours of combing them out. And now it's probably going to be about a month for my hair to kind of settle down, because this part here you can see is still kind of not really looking like I'd like it to be, like nice coiled curls, which is my natural. I wish I had African hair. I love nice tight spirals, but I'm blessed that I don't have stick straight hair. And I'm going for a long shag haircut because I like to look really feminine. That's important to me. And so this is kind of the longest I could keep it for right now, but we're going to layer it because I still don't want to use a brush or a comb, to be really candid with you. I want to just be able to run my fingers through my hair, use my Jamaican castor oil. Okay. And I also make a product that I call Luminous that I use on all my clients for years on the massage table, and I use it on my own face every day. Pure Luminosity here on YouTube makes it as well. And I use pure cacao butter, pure organic coconut oil, and pure organic, unrefined shea butter from Africa. And I melt them down in a double boiler. It's the fancy term, because you know me, I like to use simple terms, is a bain marie. So in a double boiler, which means for me, I take one pan and stack it on top of the other one, melt it down, and then you set it in the fridge for a little bit, and I whip it up really good in my KitchenAid that I bought when I was 18. I'm 57. So if you invest in some good kitchen equipment, it's going to take you a long way. So you got to have a food processor, a mixer, what else? Got to have bamboo spoons. You got to have some good pans for when you do want to put things together. But anyway, I'm brave enough to get on the screen yesterday, especially, and today. And this is what I do. I washed it today after 3 days, which normally for me it's once a week, but it was horrid looking yesterday and I couldn't take it anymore. So I did. So dreadlocks, I miss them. A few people have said, "Oh my gosh, where's your dreadlocks?" And I said, well, I made a change, and I cut them. And so I did. And it's going to be a positive change. It's going to be all right. I'm going through some things. I have a close family member that is addicted to heroin and fentanyl, and it's taken a toll on me. But, we'll survive it. And that's how it goes, right? It's not easy. It's actually really difficult at times. It tries my patience. It makes me feel, sad. And at the same time, there are days that I feel kind of resentful about it, to be perfectly candid. There's other days that I feel kind of bitter, and I can see it on my face. I can see it, in my energy. I wish we could just be perfect all the time, but there are things in our lives that are going to try us, and especially when they're things that are unnatural. Like I feel like I can really handle any of the natural healings, like you need to detoxify and you call it a cold or a flu. Your autoimmune system is, really overtaxed, and you've got Graves or Hashimoto's or lupus or any of these Harry Potter names that the medical industry comes up with. We can work on that for sure. But these unnatural, introduced synthetic things, they kind of get on my nerves because they really take our people down, and it's not their fault. What happens in my mind is that we're eating a poor diet. We become degenerated. We become mineral poor. Okay. And we start to fall apart. Our body starts to communicate that with anxiety. Let's see if this is better. Try that for a second. No, that's worse. That's worse. Hang on one sec here. So our body starts to give us communication, anxiety, depression, lethargy, any of these things. And we keep eating these fast foods and wheat and cheese and dairy and factory farmed animals and lunch meats. And our body signals louder and louder. And pretty soon it's so unbearable. We're sleeping half of the day, getting up at noon or 1 or 2 and jumping out the door. We can't hold down jobs, and we can't manage our own emotions, and we start self-medicating. And it feels so good for people to assuage their pain, the pain inside of them that says, why do I have this? And it's not fair, because people haven't had the time that I've had, and maybe you've had, to really understand that these food chemicals, the food industry, has created this problem. And now you're trying to self-medicate your way out of it. Okay. So my long, beautiful dreads are gone. My long shag is going to come in. It's going to get better and better. I've got nice curl, and it's going to get more of the spiral, even though it's wintertime, as it relaxes a little bit after all the combing. I was going through the warming house, and one of the musings that I had, the reflection, the thinking, is that it's really difficult to go through most of the establishments when there really isn't anything for us to eat. So we have to get really creative, a steamed almond milk, or, a steamer, cup of tea or whatever. But, most of the stuff is made with these food chemicals. And it's my hope than in 2019, super positive here, is that more and more people are going to learn about how these food chemicals are changing and rearranging and making them ill, and why they need to filter their water, and why they need to demand more from the places where they shop. Let's get better produce and let's get sustainable. And one of the other things that I wanted to mention is that, our cities and states and federal governments have budgets, and they have money put aside for things that they want to do for those of us that they call their citizens. And sometimes it's building a new playground. Sometimes it's really repairing the roads. And other times it's, putting in new stoplights like we just got here. But suggestions that are powerful are, how about heirloom seed banks, right? Climate controlled heirloom seed banks. How about climate controlled grow rooms, right? How about sprouting centers where the children, all the way up to the aged, can participate in a community food source that can start to be traded amongst communities? My hope is for us to come and be outside of just a money-based system, because a money-based system hurts us, in my opinion. Okay. My hope, as we have a mega hospital built in Duluth, Minnesota, and I overstand that they may be bringing in one woman who is a naturopathic doctor. With all due respect, there are those of us that are coaches, shaman, that have decades of experience, so that we have learned to listen, read the facial lines, read the tongue, read the earlobes, read the hair, what's going on for a person, that we can help them with, that is extremely meaningful, that's much different than an allopathic and even a naturopathic lens. Body temperature, reflexes mean something different to me than they do to your primary care physician most of the time. Okay. So instead of relegating us into the category of alternative medicine, it was long years ago that I started saying, I just don't really like that. I don't like that I'm kind of put out into the fringe out there. And, surely when I was in my 20s and I began this path in 1984 and 85, and I was in college and I was taking the raw foods courses from the lady who'd gone to Hippocrates, well, certainly you could relegate me into the alternative category. But, what about later, when we've held the hands and hearts and detoxification, journeys for hundreds of people? When we've been like a local medicine woman, in Minnesota for almost 16 years, and we've done massage and yoga and supplements and detoxification and medication withdrawal, right, with people. When we've helped to solve problems that other allopaths have not been able to solve, So I want us to have more, clarity around how we really heal, what detoxification is, and why it's so important and valuable. And I showed my hair. It's getting there. It's a lot better than yesterday. And it's only 3 days, so it'll be better and better. All right, you guys have a wonderful night. Take care. We'll talk soon.